Hello, well, anyway, Alicia Keys, 50 Cent, I'm not a singer or rapper, so sorry. And Mariah Carey, I'm not a singer. But, based on my old record, I went to Elizabeth Street and started smoking. Was smoking and just like a guy singing on PTA. There's a magic word for you, warning. Just a guy sitting on a piano. I started singing, practicing notes and stuff. Anyway. So, any Galabel Gushon Tassam? Nah, just kidding. Anyway, people. Yeah. Okay, human body system has a really good done to whom, blah 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 blah. So, we all have soul, we all have spirits, and we all have everything, It's just, ask, who's that? Yin Yang, or whatever. Don't they trap the spirit in the, mirror? Or I can't be bothered explaining that anymore. We are who we are. It does not matter because I'm purebred and I live, whatever. I live in a blue planet. I have a right. Come from a digital world. So, one day we'll all pass and then the next sibling is just like mixed and coaxial. So whatever we do in life, we do whatever we do in life to enjoy our life until the end of our time. Because my dad is 70 something, my mom is like 50 something, my husband is 50 something, and Bill Gates is 50 something. Is that three soul? Oh, forget about it. I'm just a kid. Oh, forget about it. A kid from what? Oh, anyway. Surrounding 54. So funk. Surrounding 54. Police army. Access the point. Surrounding 54. Do I look like a robot or sound like a robot? If you keep practicing. But it's tiring though. Voice over IP is different in relation to telephone and mobile devices. But when you have PC game, Xbox, only, police army, the way you talk is a different. Well, when you have a microphone, you know your original voice, but depending on your character. Yes, so in your character, you have to read the scripture, whoever wrote the story, then memorize it, and then act like that for the PC game and Xbox, etc. Stuff like that. And then probably later on, Safunk will edit the sound. So, he will have the background sound or whatever the introduction is and the Dreamcast is and the intro. If there is an evil one, you have to go, or, fuck you, or whatever. I'm not an actor or an actress, but, there's nothing I can do for you, sorry. It's just Safunk with Daffy Duck. Don't I have one at Salvation Army? Daffy Duck? Master? Anyway. Velocity of the graphon. Yes, Mother Mary. Velocity of the graphon is that in relation to our ink system, the formulation is just a recursion because in that time, if we know the information data of the third technology, the development of the sepulchre is a pala because the nutrition of our wall is an intellectual occlusion du fond. But the rebirth tissue of manana, we need to know how to make. Như là của con something. I, you, me, I, sender. Boundaries, no. Surround, no. Dedication, no. Dictation. So men, you have dicks. What does dictation means? If you can spell it. I'm pretty bad at English, I can't spell. So anyway, in relation to dictation, the performance of surrounding is that if there is a leap in relation to the quad core, then the leap will surround the PC game in relation to your scripture. So Safunk in relation to your scripture writing info there. So when you write info there, you will perform the next sprung. So Jason at F-Wood, speech pathologist, in relation to your speech, how do you character what the PC game is in relation to extaton? No, too quick. In relation to your own disability. So for example, you come up with a PC game. There's a monster. So since there is a monster, what are you going to do with that monster? Do you just like walk around the hall and just use a gun and shoot all the monsters? Or do you actually talk to the monster? Or do you previously know how it becomes the monster? Kind of like the mutant from X-Men, the movie. So in that way, when it becomes a mutant, what is your voice in relation to each part of the parama? So when it's surround in relation to tripon, bloquant, distant is an equalizer to ma, the character in relation to Dufon. So in that way, when we know how to read the script and memorizing the script, we can characterize the script and often into that system. So when we stick to it, our next game is, and our next game is, and our next game is, and therefore the growth of your speech pathology in relation to your money. How long will one of those PC game works in relation to selling them in eBay games? And in eBay games, which kind of student will like it? So in that way, since which kind of student would like it in relation to your character, if they buy one, they have the city key access. Of course they do. It's gotten kind of like $120 or $150. So in that way, when the validation of your speech pathology in relation to the character, the PC game can be torrent in relation to a cheaper correction. So in order to do so, when you make your voice very, very well, then the understanding of the scripture, you can also sell the original Templar in EB games. So in that way, the value of the EB games is more expensive, but it's worth it. But in that game, here is an example. $150 EB game. 200 Pon. 48 Sound. 61 MHGZ. £2, 1 dime equals 5/5. business owner. So in that way, with your speech in relation to Sefang, what kind of level are you achievable in relation to 2 years contract? But in relation to 2 years contract, how will you convert into another 5 years contract in relation to your non-inman? So the immoral, oh, I love immoral. You will know what immoral is. We all have soul. We all have spirits. And within our soul and spirits, actually, you don't get possessed. Ask Jesus Christ, do you get possessed? No. It's just, you're mixed. It's all good, mate. It's all good. Anyway, so that's number 7. Okay, tick. So, in that way, police army, in relation to your 7 years contract within speech form, how will you divert 900, 5C, and 2100, 27C, Dan? So, if you make a game in relation to dead monkey, does dead monkey have alcohol before he actually die? So when he died, does she dam itself into the water without the missing N or M? So, N or M. So in that way, how do you know that when you make a PC game, each character will select itself into a GRU char? In a GRU char, you are building your learning. When you are building your learning, each one of you are separating into the microphone because, well, you know what a girl sounds like. Yeah. So in that way, one cochon. So in that way, before the introduction, what kind of intro will you compliment? Yes, the girl in relation to artificial intelligence. You already seen that, isn't it? Yeah. I was inside of it in that game. Yes. So in that way, with the speech, based upon Sefang, when they edit sound and background sound and foreground sound, the Pilaka song of your own original voice is sentencing into the Piloko, because before you became famous PC game actors, your attitude is that when you work into the Palakasan by the Parama, so sin. Is that monkey magic? Don't know. So in that way, when you act naturally instead of organic, when you act naturally in relation to reading the script, you got to memorize it. So I'm not a reader. I can read, but after a while I'll go haywire and berserk. Not really. I can read. Here's an example. Oh, do you have any books? I don't have any books. Okay. Just an example is a book. Now for 10 years we've been sinking. Piss, soft drink, never tasted like this. But that's not now. It used to be when Lisa sang for Tim and Jean in a song we borrow from Don McLean, in a voice that came from you and me, and while the beer was flowing down, a fight broke out that broke Tim's crown. The disco was... Oh, I don't know that one. No door fee was returned. Ah, okay. So, PC gamer actor. In relation to the script that you read, it looks like and it sounds like that they were at the club at the club having a drink and they didn't get charged for it. So in that way, when we know that, how often will we need to scream? That's what you call it, this paraman, because it will memorize your, not your thoughts or thinking, it will memorize later. It will memorize. So when it memorize, how will the next day be rereadable in relation to storing it again? But when in relation to storing it again, how do you image this parama? If you can image this parama without going to the pub or the club, then you know that your image is stuck. So, who's that girl at $50? Your image got stuck in my head. And I'm a faggot. I'm completely gay. So anyway, based on that event, when you read and reread the parama, it will image into your brain. So when it does that, when you become a PC gamer acting like one of the character, when you read the script later on, how will you become more readable? So in that time, in how will you become more readable is that when you reread the script, you will perform the next speech. So now for 10 years been sinking piss. So drink never tastes like this. But that does not how it used to be. When Lista sang for Tim and Jean in a song we borrow from Don McLean, in a voice that came from you and me. Oh, and while the beer was flowing down, a fight broke out. That broke Tim's crown. The disco was abandoned. No door fee was returned. So, when you do that, you are comprom in the imagery in your brain. It's not really your brain. So in that way, when you do that, and when you compla, it will tire you out. So when you do that, recording in your microphone by SSD or SS5, it will digitally memorizes your speech, voice. So in that time, when it does that, Safunk will put an earphone on and listen. If there is any weird sound in your lungs come from your tongue, then you get a point. So within 900 5C and 2100 27 Dan NOM, if there is a diddo, dear me, no. If there is a something in relation to your pralaga, then your tongue changes. So when it changes, it means that you are completing the announcement of the intro. Yeah. I'm not an actor, so, but I love learning. So anyway, now for 10 years we've been sinking piss. Soft drink never tasted like this. But that's not now. It used to be when Listen sang for Tim and Jean in a song we borrowed from Don McLean. Oh, and while the beer was flowing down, a fight broke out. That broke Tim's crown. The disco was announced. See how it changes? So, Daffy Duck, if you want to be speech pathologist, it will change. But if you keep practicing, you need to actually time out because you need to store your memory. See? So whatever I done for Daffy Duck, always, chill out and come back to it later. Then you get money out of it. It'll take you years, my friend. Years. So in that way, when it takes you years, it will build you up into the next expertise. Then you become more famous. Just like a singer and an actor and an actress. Pretty much. I mean, in the PC game, the different character is a different idling program of isolation. So in that way, when you can compromise the isolation of your normal speech, which is the original speech, how how when you record in relation to your speech after reading the scripture will memorize yourself. If there is any points in relation to self-funk, you just practice. But if you practice every day, it ain't gonna work because it changes. So you have to keep it intact and kutu. So kutu is kind of like, la 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 la. So since you are a singer, a actor, actress, when you do that, will it mimics your eyes? So when it does, when you come back to it, it stimulates your nozzle. When it does that, you know it. It clicks in your brain. When it clicks in your brain, it's the circle. It's the same voice. So when you record it like this, and since it's the same voice, it get editor. So self-funk will so in that way, when the sound when the sound wave is yours, it will be the follow of the digitation. So in your DNA, your original DNA, it may be a female. You never know. I mean, you're a man, but in your voice box, Adam's apple, if there is one sound, you are a girl, but you can't hear it. It also occurs in your DNA. So anyway, in relation to applying for the school fee, the application for Jason, speech pathologist, in relation to Epworth is that the equation of knowing that Dr. Lysandra will have the DNA. Next time, Dr. Lysandra, when you have the DNA, it will indicate whether or not the man has 1, 2, 3, 2, 6 is YX, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 YNX, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 10 ABGF 925 YNMS1. So, men, when you go S, does that mean you're a girl? So how do you pronounce S, the letter S? So in relation to your DNA, it's S. How do you pronounce S? That's all, S. And how about plural of S? S's or S. You know, S apostrophe S. You don't know. We all have DNA. I have my mum's DNA, my dad's DNA. Yeah, and my grandma's DNA. But I'm purebred. But in that way, when we record things, if you are a singer, 50 Cents, I know you're a rapper, but is there any white men in you? If it does, when you sing and you act like a rapper, you probably get 2 points. Stuff like that. Oh, next time. I'm just here to help you guys based upon the economy. Yes. We never used to be what we want to be. We never used to be what we will know to be. We never used to be what we want to be. What does that mean, Dr. Sandra?